All right, I'm here today with Troopers on Break. We're looking at defenses inside of Kyber and outside of Kyber after the squish from Grand Arena, kind of seeing where everything still landed. Those of you that are familiar with me, I have my main account in Kyber 2, my alt account in Kyber 3, and Trooper, where is your account at right now?
My account is hanging on by a thread in Erodium 1. So
Better than
we'll
Rhodium
see.
2, isn't that right? So
Yeah, it'll
we'll
probably
look
be
at our
Erodium 2.
5v5 defenses. We'll look at our 5v5 defenses for all of our accounts, kind of talk about counters that we would use if we came across those teams ourselves. That way you can get a good meta picture. I'll go ahead and give the disclaimer, at least for me, and probably true for Trooper as well. I tend to lean a little bit offensive heavy being a content creator because a stream is not fun if it only lasts 5 minutes. So I have to lean a little bit more offensive heavy than I sometimes would like to. But we'll go ahead and crack straight into it with my main account 5v5 defense. We'll talk just general plan here is I play pretty front wall heavy with a heavy fleet defense as
Mm.
well. So my back wall is not like some crazy gotcha type stuff most of the time. I play pretty heavy on the front with a strong fleet defense. Right now, fleets are a little crazy with the Executrix bug as well as punishing one and the Leviathan changes. So I'd rather my opponent have to deal with that than me try to do mirror matches on offense. But we'll start here on the front wall. So first team I've got on defense right now is Ray with the new Ezra and Ben. I do the resistance bros with her because I find that those tend to mess up things like gas a little more often than like Cal would. So if you put Cal in a Ray team, you're adding a lot of buffs that can make things like gas really a good viable option. Versus, Cal might help slow down things like Malikos. Starkiller, I don't find he changes a ton there, but those are kind of your thought processes if you wanted to do like an L3 shorty ray or a cow, like a more online force user focused ray team. You have different thought process there. But really, I think the core of that in the top of Kyber is just going to be Ray, Ezra, and Ben until we get Ahsoka. Obviously, we'll rotate Leia out. Counters for this, I already said gas is one. I think the Resistance Bros do lower that win rate, but you will still see things like Star Killer, Malikos versus this. If someone wanted to use this, okay, they could as well. Trooper, what would you probably approach Ray with right now most commonly?
Most commonly when I see Ray, I haven't faced an Ezra yet, but most times I'm just throwing
Mm-hmm.
my Star Killer at it. It's isn't gonna be applicable in a few months, but right now he is a 100% win rate basically for me with that new Datacron of his. But even when I
Yeah,
didn't have
yeah,
the
the Datacron
Datacron,
is great right
my
now.
my go-to is Star Killer Mara J
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine.
Yeah, yeah, and I think right now the most important thing that Ezra's going to change for Starkiller, from my experience in testing, is you just need to open up with Mara's second special and burn the stagger ability. That way she can come back around and get tenacity down. Because Ezra's going to make the whole team start with foresight, so that
Mm-hmm.
kind of does make it a little bit trickier if you try to open up with her tenacity down or something like that. Right now, yeah, Starkiller Datacron's making that not a problem. We'll see if it hurts his win rate as time passes here. Next team I've got is Gungans. I think Gungans are kind of a defensive staple right now for people that have them. Treya beats them pretty good, but like pulling your opponent's Treya is a really good trade for most people, as well as I think most GLs can handle them. Trooper, do you see Gungan too much in Erodium or no?
I do actually. I've been seeing Gungans a lot more in Rhodium than I thought. But honestly, I'm using my Gear 12 Savage lead and I'm taking out Relic
Mm-hmm.
7, Relic 8 Gungans. So in
Awesome,
my
awesome.
opinion, when
Doing
I
like what
face them,
Savage lead with Talon and Treya and stuff.
yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I do Savage lead, Talon, Treya, Scion, and then I just put in a random fifth Sith, whether
Mm-hmm.
that's Nihilus or something like that. And then I get it done, and the only relics on my team are Talon and Treya. All my other characters are at Gear
Awesome.
12, and
Yeah.
those take down Relic 7 full Omicron
Mm-hmm.
Gungans for me. So
Well, good to hear it. And yeah, when I say Trey, I do mean the Savage lead with Talon because that is the most consistent. You can make regular Trey work, but Savage lead with Talon just feeds so much turn meter that it's a really solid counter. I don't really consider a
mhm.
whole lot else. Obviously, Bane also beats it, right? But I think we could go through here and say Bane beats pretty much everything. So it's kind of
Yeah.
they can't use Bane on every team. So that's kind of where we land there. Next team I've got on defense, and this is one I waffle back and forth on a lot. I've got Grievous with Stap on D, but I actually believe Wampa still solos this, so I'm probably going to pull this off pretty soon. I kind of just wanted a placeholder as I was getting some more teams up and going and shifted some things to offense. But right now, I don't think Grievous is beating Starkiller with his new Datacron, so that's why I've got him on defense because I don't have a great use for him right now. Because normally Grievous is my Starkiller counter when I see him, but I don't see Grievous taking down Starkiller with his Datacron.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
I completely agree. I think he's best use
mhm.
is on defense. He's a low banner team on offense. Only thing I will say is, I haven't gotten my stat up and running yet. I have faced the stat. It's not consistent. I haven't won every battle, but most times my Wampa can still get through it. And
Yeah.
then worst case, I
Hmm.
just throw a Giant Knight Revan at it. I'm like, okay, like I'll
Yeah, and
put
I
a
don't have the step
mismatch.
Omicron, so
Yeah.
I think Wampa can handle it pretty solidly. I will say Grievous actually, as you get higher up, does shift to more offensive because he can cripple some GL teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can throw him against a Jabba, and a lot of times maybe knock out Bausch Leia, things like that. So
Yeah.
that's where he starts to shift more into focus is when you start trying to like multi-shot GLs. Otherwise, yeah, right now he's kind of Wampa food on defense, but that's just a slot he's filling for me. I've got Qui Gon on defense. This is a Datacron one for me. I would normally not have Qui Gon on defense. Even if I ignore like ETH and stuff, we've got Jedi Datacrons right now, which complicate normal counters. If I saw this personally, I'm throwing Bad Batch at it. I don't know if ETHCron Bad Batch is still going to be kind of the go-to, but normal Qui Gon Jinn Omicron, you throw Bad Batch at it, you're fine. Even with back in there, Bad Batch still does fine. You could also do Grievous a lot of the time. You just be a little careful with Mace in there. Seen him wreck a Grievous team with all that extra foresight getting thrown around. But in general, and I assume Qui Gon's something you probably see on defense a lot too, right?
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
I've made the mistake where I threw a CLS. I'm like, oh, I'll just stun Anakin, and I'll blitz down
Oh man,
Qui-Gon.
yeah,
I still
yeah.
get absolutely wrecked, and then yeah.
Hmm.
But
Especially if someone throws like a Barris in there, it can really mess you up.
yep,
I've got
yep.
Barris somewhere else at the moment, but all right. Well, anyway, so nothing too crazy on my top wall, but this is where I really start getting to the meat and potatoes of my defense. I've got
Mm.
Leia. So right now, Leia's here to pull Bane. That's her main goal. Bane or C. Most of the time, Bane. We get Jabba's pulled off a lot too in Kyber. People will pull Jabba off defense to use on Leia. That's fine. Uh, I've got Jabba on defense as well, so we'll talk about these in tandem. So Jabba beats Leia. That's kind of like the main thing. So if I were to pull Jabba off defense, that would be what it's for. But right now, Jabba's just catching a lot of SOK
Mm.
and Lord Vader's, but Lord Vader times out a lot of the time. Do you see too many Leias and Jabbas as well
Oh,
in a game?
I surprisingly, again, because of this Kyber squish that we're talking about in
Mm-hmm.
this video, I see a
Yep.
lot of teams where they have all the GLs, and the front
Yeah.
wall will literally have one wall will have Leia, one wall will have Jabba. So
Mm-hmm.
I will say with the Leia though, I have been able to get through with Starkiller even before his Datacron. It's
Nice.
just you have to play it right and you have to have really high damage on it. Like it doesn't matter what
Mm-hmm.
Datacron like level 6 is, as long as you have really high damage to blitz out that Drogon or get that layout as before she gets that
Right.
ultimate, you can get through that. And same thing with Java.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I've been just throwing
Yep.
SOKR at it recently. I just don't want to
Yep.
play the games. I just want to get through, get the basic
Mm-hmm.
out, siphon, ultimate, uh, and
Yep.
that's how I'd usually do it with the Java. But the Leia's
We'll see
surprisingly,
where SLK
yeah.
lands too. Once we get this SLK lifter, he might be too expensive for us to use on Jabba anymore, so we might need to find new Jabba counters.
Yeah, they were saying he may be become a defensive team because I was looking at it myself. I
Maybe.
don't know how you're gonna
Yeah.
face that, but
I think Leia should still be okay, but JMK is cooked. Well, on offense, JMK could probably win because you can hold the insta kill until after the defeat immunity expires, but
mm,
that's going to be a really difficult challenge to tackle. I will say that's why I set my Leia with double tank, by the way, is to prevent people from trying to blitz down with things like that. So it is good to hear that people do that. But yeah, I think that'll work a lot better against like Mon Mothma or like Han Chewie variants
hmm
versus when you throw a bunch of tanks in the way. Not that it might not work, but this just lowers the
yeah,
odds
I will
when you have stuff
say
that might taunt.
it does make it more complicated and it changes up and it slows down the ultimate because instead of keep blitzing on Leia, you have to use that buff
Right.
dispel to get around those taunts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, Jabba, the only other thing I'll mention here is we do see Malicos. Sorry, not Malicos. Not Revo. I'm blanking. We can see a lot of C2 shots, LV, like I mentioned, Night Sister
Night
shots is where I was
Sisters,
going with that. We do
yep.
see Night Sisters used to either pick apart a Jabba or actually just straight up kill them. We're not talking about Great Mothers, that's their own crazy thing. Just regular Night Sisters with Marin a lot of times can either pick this down or actually win the battle. So we do see that, but it's pretty rare. I go through my defense fairly often. Not something people do on me most of the time. Riva on defense, especially right now, I don't have it locked in here, but with the GI Cron, you are ruling out Malgus in 5v5. I will say in threes, Malgus still works. Just saying. But in 5v5, you are going to be able to rule out Malgus with that, and that's what I would use against Riva. Like 99% of the time. I don't know about you what your main go to is, but mine's almost always Malgus.
Yeah, so I don't have Malgus. So
Oh dear.
so yeah, that's not my go-to. But
Okay, so
if
what do you use then?
I usually so if there's no Java, I'll probably throw an SOKR. If not, I am
Okay.
probably either honestly going to throw like a Sith Eternal at it, call it a day, or I'm blanking on my other counter. There's this really cheap counter that I use, but it's like works 50% of the
Radis
time.
works sometimes, but Radis is kind of
Don't even
dicey.
have
I don't know if that's
Radis.
where you're going, but
Not even
oh, okay.
Radis.
You say
But no.
Radis works pretty very well in TW. Radis in GAC is much more dicey.
Yeah, no. I just can't I'm think of it, but I will say the one that I know for sure that I just go to is Sith Eternal. Just quick
Okay.
link, let them
Phoenix is also
attack.
really good against Riva as well.
Think
I don't know if that's
that's
what you're
it.
thinking
No,
of, but
that's it.
gotcha. Yeah, Phoenix with the
Yeah.
pre-taunt's really good against Riva, so
Yes,
that's
yes.
that's one way to
Thank
go
you.
for about it.
Thank you.
No problem. And then JMK. JMK has been a staple on defense for me for a really long time. I'm running into a hair bit of a problem right now with Great Mothers. I need to see where Great Mothers will land once this Datacron is gone for him, if we'll have easy counters or not. Because right now, Great Mothers is wanting SLK with Marin and Zombie, and that kills my Jabba counter. And then if I've got JMK on defense and I've got like LV is kind of iffy against Jabba a lot of times, so it
Hmm.
becomes kind of a treacherous situation. But right now, and since I got him, JMK's been on defense for me. You would not believe how often he catches holds. I mean, it's just crazy.
Really.
People can see him, they can JML him, but when you've got like all these other GLs on defense, people just really run out of stuff. So that's
I
something I
could
run
see
into
it.
quite a
It's
lot.
probably hard for them to navigate when they have a Reva right there, a Jabba, and a Leia just to
Mm-hmm.
get through this wall, and then they're trying to strategize for your top wall as well that we just saw.
Right. Yeah.
I can see that they could
Yeah.
be
It
a little
becomes a little
squished
bit
and
overwhelming.
pressed, especially with that
Mm-hmm.
Clocron on right now.
Yeah, yeah. So even without Plocron, JML is obviously the answer, right? Like, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that will try to like split up and like save Cal, or maybe try to save Jedi Knight Luke, and that'll wind up costing him really bad. But sometimes it just gets stepped on, no problem. We'll head on to the back wall. So the back wall, I've got a couple gotcha teams, nothing too crazy. I do have a Relic 7 Great Mother at this point now. It's just not for this week of GAC. So I'll have this back there. We'll see. I think that's going to catch me some holds. Right now, I've got this DTMG. I would normally be setting DTMG anyway, just not maybe with Gideon. But I would normally
Hmm.
be setting DTMG anyway back here. This is Radis food, but that's the hope for me is a lot of time that I can burn Radis uh, on the front if they try to do that on Riva, and if they don't, then it's okay. I'll likely swap this out for Enoch Imperial Remnants at some point also, just for
Mm.
now while they're still kind of newer.
Okay.
Do you see very much DTMG or Great Mothers in Abrodium right now, or no?
I see a lot of Dark Trooper Moff Gideons. I have not seen many
Okay.
Great Mothers. Oh, with the Great Mothers, I've recently, what I've seen, they've been low gear, and I've just been able to blitz them out with really high damage, right?
Gotcha.
But
Yep. Yep.
but with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, yeah, I don't have Radis personally,
Mm-hmm.
so that doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Honestly,
makes sense.
honestly, if I still have it and there's no Ray, I'll just throw Star Killer at it. Just
Yep.
blitz,
Yeah.
get to
Starkiller,
ultimate,
Gas,
kill immunity.
Malgus,
Yep,
Malicos, Radis. Those are all good options.
yeah,
QA is one that a lot of people in 5v5 throw gas at. That's why I've got Barris here
that's what
to
I
help
do.
kind of slow down that gas drain, as well as Padme. That should slow down any gas options. It will still be a lot of buffs, but hopefully the extra reduction from the crits and out of turn will slow them down. So this kind of asks for like a Bane or a Sith Eternal. Really
Yeah,
is
I
where
could see
QA
that.
comes
I
right now.
could see that.
So
I
my
I
hope is
throw.
that.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. My
No,
hope is
so
right now
sorry.
that people try to Bane Riva and then
Hmm.
try to Sith Eternal Leia or JMK, and
Hmm.
then they get back here, and then their only option is to try to gas the QA.
Yeah,
That's
I've
kind of the
not
thought
seen.
process there.
I have not seen the Barris variant yet in my Grand Arenas, but I've seen a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Quad Maze. And I'll say I'm happy with my new Relic 8 because I'm going for GL Soka. I just took my gas to Relic
Hmm.
8 last Grand Arena.
Yep.
I was able to one-shot a quad mate because of all the buffs and everything, but I guarantee
Yeah.
Barris would slow that down for
Yeah, and
sure.
Padme helps a ton too because when Echo or Art Trooper, Turret, or any of those things are hitting out of turn, you're getting that protection up. So Barris and
Mm,
Padme kind of work against each other a little bit. So I could definitely see Armor for not having them both here because you can't crit when you've got the protection up from Padme. So then if you're not critting, you're not messing with Barris. But Barris also had some like cleansing for the dazes and there's mass heal in general. So I could certainly see myself swapping one of them out. But the hope there is that at least one of them will slow down gas.
mhm,
So that's how I run that. Fleets, I have triple GL fleet on defense. I am not doing mirror matches, and if I saw this, and I'll just right now things are a little up in the air because they've managed to bug Executrix. But when Executrix is working how they've said it's supposed to work, I am execute, and even when it's not, I'm still doing this. But Executrix versus triple attacker punching one executor. So
mhm,
that's with Scythe, TIE Advanced, and TIE Fighter starting. When TIE Fighter does his special ability, he gets Foresight, he'll get marked, he'll get swarmed, you'll get him dead, and then you can immediately call in Iden as your first reinforcement. And you're going to ability block Razor Crest with Vader, you're going to stun punishing one with Iden. There's lots of videos and guides on this, but basically that normally works out okay. Even recently, since the mark is bugged from Executrix, TIE Fighter's not getting marked. You can still probably blitz down punching one. That's what I've been doing, and then I'll actually clean it up with finalizer. So
mm,
I've been doing the finalizer counter for years at this point, so I've got it down. Even when it's a different scenario, I just know how to maneuver that fleet really well, so I'm able to pull that off. Up against Profundity, I do Malevolence with TIE Bomber, so that's like Spy Start Malevolence with TIE Bomber is your first reinforcement or your second reinforcement, depending if you killed Y Wing or not. And then against Leviathan, right now I'm doing a Negotiator with Bad Batch. So
mhm,
that's the counter I'm rocking here against Negotiator. I will say if you see Hounds to start Executor, you can actually use Mace Windu. Bit Dynasty has a great video on that for using Mace Windu to beat this, assuming you do have Marauder and the Clones gear and those kind of things. That would cripple you for Leviathan though if you see a triple. So it is still kind of a iffy situation either way. Do
mhm.
you have something you can do to work if you see triple fleets right now, or are you kind of
Uh,
just SOL if they do that?
so a Rhodium only has two fleets
That's
on
right. That's
defense,
right.
but
So if you saw Leviathan and triple attacker P1, or do you have a solution, or are you cooked?
so basically what I do is this. So I go for the two shot on Executor,
Hmm.
and then so I usually throw the OG Chimera fleet at it, hoping to get one of the ships out, just getting high blitz damage out. And then I usually can clean that up actually with Malevolence. And then
Okay.
and then when I go to Leviathan, I just throw the kitchen sink. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a great Leviathan counter right now.
Gotcha.
So I'm just throwing the negotiator. I'm throwing the first order the finalizer. I'm throwing Radis.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
I pick at least when I fight though, I'm able to take like I'll be able to take a dagger out, and then maybe I'm able to take out Malgus's ship too, and then I have an easy cleanup, right? But
Right.
overall, the Leviathan,
Hmm.
that's why I'm getting what's it called? What's Profundity right now? I am farming up
Gotcha.
Profundity. I have
I
all
will
the
say
ships.
Profundity struggles a little bit now after the dagger buff. The extra protection is rough.
Yeah,
It is tough to
yeah,
get
and
around.
the turn one insta kill with the punishing one makes it just so much harder against executor too. So it's like,
Yeah. The executor is a tough one. I will say Chimera is going to get absolutely cooked. I don't know how much you see the triple attacker variants, but it as you start getting higher star punishing ones, it will get cooked.
yeah, I've been
That's
seeing
why people are switching to
four stars
Executrix.
mostly.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah. So as this gets higher, because I fight a lot of 7-star punishing ones even right now, it does get cooked. So you have to switch to Executrix for the summonable Tie Fighters just to buy yourself time.
well, I don't have
Unfortunately.
sight. Remember, I
Oh yeah, you don't
because
have
I
scythe. Oh, so
refused
anyway, yeah, you're cooked. Got it.
to farm
Well,
Grand
yeah, if you
Inquisitor.
can't do yeah, if you don't have scythe, I guess you might as well run Chimera, right? Yeah, might as
Exactly,
well.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well that's my defense, and we'll now switch over to Troopers defense and go from there. All right, and we're back now with my alt account after checking out Trooper's account. We're going to quickly run through these. A lot of it will be the same stuff that we saw in my main account, but we do have some differences here. This account plays similarly, but I have one less GL in this account, as well as some other non-GL teams I don't have, as well as just weaker things. So, like, I don't have Ezra for my Ray here, but like we've already seen Ray. Mon Mothma's Wampa Food. I just need teams for defense on this account. It's missing a lot of the backbone B tier teams that my main account has. So we've got Wampa Food, Mon Mothma here. I'm sure you see a fair amount of Mon Mothma as
Yes.
well. Wampa Food is what it is. We've got Lord Vader here. This is Bounty Hunter food if you know what you're doing. Otherwise it's JML, right? And I just, when I take Lord Vader on offense, I time out and I get pissed off. So I just have quit taking him on offense. And I've got good mods on my Lord Vader too. I mean, it is what it is. I've got Zori here. You do see the Fin Zori more popularly done,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just having to spread out because I don't have great filler for my Ray team on this account. Because my Cal's are my Malicos, so that's where that's at. Otherwise, really similar bottom wall here. Almost the same, except swap Leia for Radis. Radis commonly people are using Bad Batch to beat it. Jedi Knight Revan. Not that I see a whole lot of Jedi Knight Revans here, but that's an easy one. Then you've got things like Malgus, Malicos. I don't. Starkiller can beat Radis, but I really wouldn't recommend it. Feels like you're asking to get bolted and lose your entire team because Starkiller's gonna have 40 exposes.
Yeah.
But like there are a lot of counters to Radis.
Yeah.
I assume you see Radis a fair amount, right?
I do, and there's been a lot of moments Radis has caused me to punch my screen on stream, so never
Yeah,
underestimate him.
no love for the Fishman. No love for the
Yep.
Fishman. All right. All right, well, we'll go ahead and shift back to the back wall here. It is garbage, and
Oh,
I'm sorry you have to see it. It's garbage. It's trash.
oh,
Absolute garbage.
Dash.
It's
We're
bad.
going back to
Yeah. I mean,
2021,
oh
2022.
yeah. This is Qui-Gon Jinn food. You got Qui-Gon Jinn on offense. You see a Dash team. You throw Anakin in there. Qui-Gon dies to
Oh my
Dash's AoE, and Anakin
goodness.
rips the whole team to shreds. That's not the right Chewie. I'm just hoping someone doesn't notice. So I'm just hoping people think that's the the revive Chewie. So that's all I can do with that one. I've got Quadme back here to hopefully catch someone off. I have the R2 Zetas now. They just weren't
Oh,
locked in. I think I have the R2 Zetas now. I I'll have them soon if I don't have them now. And then I've just got Ayla in there for some extra stunning. Otherwise,
mm-hmm.
just complete garbage back here. Like I don't expect my Zeta-less leftover first order to get me. And I should probably swap officer out of this too. If you're using SLK to be Java officers, the more common plug-in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've got
Well,
trash there, and one good team.
yeah, especially with the officer, if you have in mind, right, you get two quick AoEs out of SLKR. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see the use with him in Phasma.
Mhm. Yeah, he's definitely more used on offense. I just use Stormtrooper to beat Java most of the time, and it doesn't really cause me problems. But
Uh,
I'm not going to sit here and try to deny that Officer is better when you're fighting Java. He's
yeah.
definitely better. I just this account is like I said, it's very like top heavy. It's like a mushroom. I've got a lot of GLs. I got GL ships. I don't have a lot of the core middle of the road. Like my Dark Trooper on this account's gear 9 or gear 10 or something. Like I'm missing a lot of like core units for some of my teams. It's very top heavy.
Yeah.
Again, here I've got triple GL ship on D, slightly less star punishing one. Phoenix is not geared. Not that it really matters. My Phoenix is like I'm gonna gear 12 of them at least soon because I'm doing Leia now on this account, so I'm gonna get my Phoenix up to 12 to at least to go with Captain Rex. But likely I'll wind up relicking the ideal Phoenix team to have a Reva counter for TW. But yeah, so nothing really crazy on this account. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you've learned something. If you have questions about specific teams, or if you want to add in certain counters you found that you like to use, I think we'd both love to hear from you, Trooper. Do you have any closing remarks for the good people?
No, I want to say thank you for having me on here. It was a good time. It was a good time breaking down both our defenses and getting a different perspective. Me being outside of Kyber after the Kyber squish and you still maintaining it on both accounts, it was a really nice perspective to see.
Yeah, I'm fighting for my life every day. It is brutal, but it is what it is. All right, well, thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Trooper, subscribe to me, and we'll both see you on the hall tables.